Swinburne University of Technology.
It's amazing to be part here, back here at Swinburne, the university where I not only studied, but also I've worked, at Swinburne, but also I lived here as well on this very campus. So it's really great to be back. I've had a lot of experiences that Swinburne allowed me to actually get, and after I left Swinburne in 2006, I was able to actually get some more experience as well. So. I studied a Bachelor of Business honours and then went on to do a Master's of Accounting. So my interest today is to pass on a bit of that experience and the things that I've learned, not so much like a sermon or like a father, but more like a friend, more like a potential employer. At the end of it, I'll be giving you a few tips. Now, I haven't, I haven't followed all these tips myself, but the beauty of it is that you hear it from someone who's made a few mistakes, who's learned from those mistakes, and hopefully you won't have to make those. So let's now move on to those tips I was telling you about. Now, when you get a job, or even if you have a job, then you change departments or you get promoted or demoted, that can also happen, always be a learner. Be like a sponge, just absorb everything that's given to you. And the reason why you want to do this is because when you learn about the company or department, what happens is that you understand how this business actually makes money. All businesses actually exist for the sole purpose of making money, and everyone in the company is employed to do one thing, and that is to solve problems. You are all hired to actually solve problems. Be it the person who delivers the mail to the CEO, we're all hired as thinking people to solve problems. So just be a problem solver, learn about the company, and you will definitely stand out. Now, while you're doing all of that, there are three things that are critical, and they all start with the letter A, so really easy to remember. Your appearance is very critical. Your attitude is critical, but also your actions. I've hired a few graduates, and one of them in particular, I gave her the task to go and set up a meeting room and to get the projector just to make sure that it was okay. And she said, well, I'm a graduate. I'm not meant to actually set up the projector. That was bad attitude, because we really needed this meeting to happen. All of us were busy doing other things, and she did not want to go and set up the projector because she told me, I've got a degree. Well, that's not the attitude employers want, because, if it's a small task, you still have to do it. When I was in the NAB graduate program, I had to stuff envelopes to send people their statements. That was in the day prior to e-statements and things like that. But, we all have to do small little tasks, make coffee, photocopy things, file things. We all have to start there. So your attitude is very critical. And your actions as well. Because what you want to do at work, it's all about your brand. You want to always be seen as this positive person who always puts their hand up when there's a task to be done. Even if it's a task that you're not comfortable with, just say, yes, I'll do it, I'll give it a go, because you want to be seen as a positive person. So when you'll be in the workforce, it's all about your brand, and your brand is reality. That perception of you is reality to many people. Also, at any stage of your career, whether you're just starting, or you've been there for a while, you'll be required to give 110% of yourself. Now, this is a great thing to do. We all want to have employees who give 110%, but I'll say that don't ever do that at the expense of your health or your family, because it's just not worth it. You might be great at work, but if that affects your health or your family, then that's just not a balanced way of doing things. But do adapt. Your role, your companies will change. So you need to adapt, but you also need to stand out as well. You can't just say well, I don't like doing that. This is not what I applied for. You still need to adapt. So as I said a bit earlier, you were all hired to solve problems. This next thing is a bit cheeky. It's about making your boss look good. What I mean by that is obviously you can say, look, hey, nice shirt, but don't be fake about it. So what I mean by that is that if your boss is measured on certain things, there's a lot of internal reporting that takes place, at work. If he's measured on that or she's measured on that, just make sure that you deliver that, to make him look good. And then your employer will make you look good. If something comes up and it's like, well, whom do you think should get that? Your name will be on the front of mind for that, for your boss. And having a good boss, a good line manager at work can make or break your career. So, you may be amazing, but if you don't have a great boss or a great relationship with your boss, that can make and break your career. So make your boss look good, pay compliments, and make it sound like you mean it. All right, so this next thing, be fair. Obviously, when you get your amazing careers, you'll have to actually make decisions. You'll have to maybe not hire someone and hire someone else or things like that. I will actually recommend, or I would advise, is for you to always, no matter what happens, is that you always need to remain fair. But whatever you do, what will happen, what you'll learn very quickly is that unfairness can happen on you. You might do an amazing job, but what will happen is that other people, unfairness could happen on you. People will say all sorts of crazy things about you, and they may not be true, but people will believe that because there is a bit of office politics, and which leads me to my next point there. And I was quite blunt in writing this, which is know when to keep your mouth shut. Sounds a bit rude, but this is the most direct way I could say this. But there are things at work where they're just off limits. Things like politics, religion, your plans to actually quit. Just say that to your friends or your family at home, but don't tell them to people in the workplace, because what happens is that the office politics will use that against you. So just make sure you know what you're saying. Another way to communicate is obviously social media, which the presenters touched on before. Make sure you keep that clean, because yes, employers do look at social media as well. So if you've got people or friends, who actually post things which to them is funny, but is not aligned to your brand, then you may need to actually take them off or block them. I've had to do that with a few of my friends or relatives who post things, thinking they're being quite smart. But if that affects my brand, then I'll have to actually tell them, look, can you just send me a direct message, something that people can't see. So, your actions will actually define you, and your actions once you leave university, you will find yourself in a world where there's no answers at the back of the book like it is here. There's no right or wrong answer to whatever you'll be called on to do. There'll be only one answer, and that's the answer that you come up with, and you'll be judged on that. So, but what I do hope, that you got out of today from hearing the amazing stories of the previous, presenters, but also those that I've been able to share with you, is that you're able to actually mold your actions into positive things that will help you in building a very successful career. And I wish you all the very, very best, and I hope that one day we'll be able to hear your own stories that you'll be able to share with Swinburne and the Swinburne community. So thanks a lot.
Allow me to introduce you myself. My name is Vicky. I came to Melbourne to study in 2001, and I completed my VCE degree in 2003. My entry score was fairly good. I could have to do anything apart from law or medicine, but my father convinced me to do a mathematical degree because he said that not many girls would do a math degree, and you'll be a very popular girl in the faculty. I did a lot of admin work in my first job, typing, printing, filing, and gathering materials for meetings, and preparing papers, reports on certain topics, book travels for everyone in the office. And at one stage, I had to be responsible for the main switchboard and taking calls, transferring calls to other people. But the more admin work that I did, I realized the importance of this, the foundation of every business out there. And And it was certainly proved to me in my current role with the law practice, and I'm sitting with my boss with running one of his investment company on the side. Now, a couple more things you guys might be interesting to know. Internship. Promote yourself and start early. The more internship experience that you have while you are studying, it's 100 times better on your CV than a retail job at a fashion shop. Trust me on that. Secondly, networking. In other words, socializing with people. It is very, very important. That's where you can exchange information with people who has a similar agenda. And but please do your research before you attend any events. And talk to people who are in the company that you wish to work for to get some insights. And there will be some, hopefully, referral opportunities coming out of it. And make proper online professional appearance. Use social media wisely. Have a LinkedIn profile and be very mindful of what type of information is available on your Facebook page to the public. Because the HR team will firstly look at your LinkedIn profile, secondly will check out your Facebook profile. So put less partying picture on it. Professional membership, that will bring you a lot of benefits. And try to tap into it while you're still a student, because they actually offer a cheaper membership rates to current students than you enter into a professional work field. At last, some handy advices for all of you here today. Rule number 1, be honest on your CV, because you're wanting to start a career here. Don't lie about anything that you cannot do. You'll get caught, like most of the time. Secondly, always follow up on people that you have had a business conversation with, and take notes on your own and write back to them. Let them know what you can offer to them. Let them know you're interested. Let them know what you can bring to them. That's quite critical and quite helpful in my career as to date. That's all from me. Good luck to all of you.
So who am I and why am I here? My name's Wei Li. I'm Malaysian. I've been here for 7 years. And what am I doing now? I'm actually working for a training company. We actually help people with a disability, people who are long-term unemployed. And I'm in charge of industry engagement. I go out to companies like ANZ, and I go out to hospitality places, Crown, and I speak to them about giving my candidates a chance, candidates who haven't been working for a while. And then I did something really left field. I received the opportunity to go to Sudan, to Khartoum, for a $75 million oil and gas project. I was 25 at that time. I was more used to wearing color-coordinated suits and high heels and walking around the hotel. What was I doing in the middle of North Africa? But at that time, I had a dream. I really wanted to save enough money to travel. And so I said yes. At the time, they were happy to pay me $2,000 US. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you convert it to ringgit, it was quite a fair bit. So I was there for what was just supposed to be a short project, but I ended up being there for 2.5 years. I saved up enough money to come to Australia to study. And that's when I did my master's in international business. I did my master's in global leadership. Which brings me to Australia. So I'm 28 at this time, and I'm giving you my chronological age as I go along, so you can see how my career, or lack of it, has moved as I've grown. And if there's 3 things that I can share with you today through, all this randomness, I guess there's 3 things. The first thing is acceptance. Accept that, we're all new in a new country. And I say acceptance does not mean don't take action. Acceptance means taking action, but with peace. Because for many years, I did this whole, why me? Why is this so freaking difficult? Why am I not getting the opportunities? The moment I accepted that, yep, I'm in a new country, and with that comes many different challenges, I began to see things a bit differently, and I began to go out and talk to people, not in a way that you owe me an opportunity. It's more of, yep, I know I'm new. What do I need to do to get there? The second thing is awareness. Just, I guess, be aware of who you are, what your values are, why are you here, what's your purpose. Be aware of what you're good at and what you're not. So there are some books that I actually read. So right now, because a lot of my work is in influencing people, I'm reading books like How to Win Friends and Influence People. I'm going out and talking to people who've gone before me. Right before I came here, I was speaking to a member of parliament because I'm actually getting him to coach me because I want a job in government. So I'm actually getting him to teach me what is government speak? What are the buzzwords? He knows, I don't. And I want to tap into that. And when you go in with a desire to learn, people do share it with you, but it must come from an awareness of who you are, where you think you want to go. That will help. The third thing is take action. Everything is action except sitting at home watching MasterChef in your pajamas. Apart from that, just go. Whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you feel can help get you from here to there, the books. How are you spending your time? How are you spending your resource? Take action, but take strategic action. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? Don't just randomly do something because you think it's fun. Your time is very precious. So use it. Your money is precious. So use it to actually bring you to the next step. Because if you're strategic, you can actually bypass and get to where you want to go a lot quicker. So yeah, I guess these are the three things, except that, it's cool, you're here, we're in a new country, let's see how we can maximize our opportunities, be aware of who we are, and just take some great action. Yeah, thanks.
This has been a Swinburne production.